Jared Malek had been searching for peace for years, and Whispering Pines looked like the perfect escape. Quiet streets, tall pine trees, friendly faces, and a promise of stress-free community living. The brochures called it the safest neighborhood in the region. But the moment Jared moved in, the place felt wrong. On his first night, while unloading boxes, he noticed a black SUV crawling slowly down the street. Its headlights were off. A man inside aimed a small device, almost like a scanner, at every house as he passed. When the SUV reached Jared's driveway, it paused for exactly 5 seconds. The man pointed the scanner toward Jared's house, the device beeped, and the SUV silently drove away. Jared tried to shake it off, but something inside him whispered, "This neighborhood is not normal." The next morning, he found a crisp white envelope taped to his door. Inside was a fine, $1,200, unauthorized driveway reflection level. Reflection level? What did that even mean? Confused, Jared went to the HOA office. It was strangely dark for daytime, the windows covered with black shades. Inside, a dozen security monitors showed every street and every house, including Jared's front yard. HOA President Helena Crow appeared from a side door, tall, elegant, and smiling, a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She looked at him as if she already knew who he was.
"Mr. Malek, your driveway reflected moonlight at a non-permitted angle. Whispering Pines values uniformity."
"How can anyone control moonlight?" Jared asked. Helena leaned in, voice cold. "You control what we tell you to control." As Jared walked out of the office, shaken, 3 neighbors hurried past him with their heads down. An older woman whispered, "Don't argue with Helena. People who complain never last here." That night, Jared checked his door camera footage. At 3:13 a.m., a hooded figure stepped onto his porch, touched the camera lens with a gloved finger, and whispered, "Stop asking questions." Before Jared could react, the figure walked away with military precision, not like a random troublemaker, but someone trained. The following morning, Jared found another envelope, but this time it wasn't a find. It was a handwritten note from an unknown neighbor. "You're in danger. Helena isn't running an HOA. She's running something much darker. If you want answers, meet me at the Old Pine Trail tonight. Come alone." Jared looked up and down the street. Every house seemed normal, but now every shadow looked suspicious. One thing was clear. Whispering Pines was hiding a secret, and Jared had just become part of it. Jared arrived at the Old Pine Trail just before midnight. The air was cold, the woods silent. Only the rustling of pine needles broke the stillness. The meeting spot was an abandoned fire pit, surrounded by stone benches, a place that looked forgotten by time. A figure stepped out from behind a tree. It was the old woman who had whispered to him outside the HOA office. Her name, she said, was Miriam Holt, one of the oldest residents. She spoke fast, nervous, her eyes scanning the tree line constantly. "Listen carefully. Nobody moves here. Nobody buys a home here. Every new resident is recruited." "Recruited for what?" Jared asked. Miriam hesitated. "To fund Helena's system." She pulled a folded document from her coat, a list of names with numbers beside them. "These numbers, they're not house addresses. They're quota targets, monthly payment goals." Some people had been billed nearly $30,000 a year in fake fines. Many had moved away. Some vanished with no forwarding address. Helena calls it the shadow ledger. It's not an HOA, it's a private money funnel. Suddenly, Miriam stiffened. She looked over Jared's shoulder. A camera, mounted high in a tree. Its red light blinked. They were being watched. "Run," Miriam whispered. They sprinted through the forest as spotlights flicked on behind them. Dark figures moved between the trees, fast, coordinated, silent. The same hooded enforcers Jared saw on his camera. Jared and Miriam hid behind a fallen log as two figures passed by, scanning with thermal goggles. Their movements were precise, almost military. Miriam whispered, trembling, "They're not volunteers. They're former private security. Helena hired them." When the patrol moved on, they crawled away and escaped back toward the residential area. But halfway out of the woods, Miriam stopped. "I can't go any farther." "Why?" She lifted her shirt slightly. Jared saw a small device attached to her hip. A tracker. "I tried to remove it once," she said, voice breaking. "They fined me $5,000 for tampering with HOA property." Jared felt sick. Helena wasn't running an HOA. She was running a controlled microcity. Before they could speak again, headlights lit up the trail. A black SUV rolled to a stop, the same model Jared saw his first night. Helena stepped out, flanked by two enforcers. Her tone was calm, almost amused. "Mr. Malik, you've made quite an impression." Jared stepped protectively in front of Miriam. Helena tilted her head, smiling. "You should have listened to my advice. People who dig too deep disappear." She raised her hand. The enforcers stepped forward. But before they could grab Jared, a loud beep came from Helena's earpiece. She paused, listened, then frowned. She looked directly at Jared. "Where is the ledger file?" "What ledger?" Helena's smile vanished, replaced with cold anger. "Someone accessed a restricted server tonight, and the access came from your house." Jared's blood ran cold. "Someone is inside my home, and they're helping me." Helena stared at him for a long moment, then quietly said, "Find whoever is helping you before I do." She signaled her team, and they disappeared back into the trees as silently as they appeared. Miriam grabbed Jared's arm. "Jared, if someone accessed Helena's server from your house, then that person has the shadow ledger." Jared swallowed hard. "And whoever has that ledger," Miriam whispered, "controls the fate of everyone in Whispering Pines."
Jared sprinted back toward his house, every shadow in Whispering Pines feeling alive. Porch lights flicked on one by one, as if the neighborhood itself was waking up to watch what happened next. When he reached his front door, it was unlocked. Someone was inside. He stepped in slowly and froze. A young woman sat at his kitchen table, laptop open, an external drive plugged in. Her clothes were dirty, her face exhausted, but her eyes were sharp. "I've been waiting for you," she said. Jared didn't move. "Who are you?" She closed the laptop and pushed it toward him. "My name is Elara Wynn. I used to work for Helena." Jared's pulse spiked. Elara continued, voice tight. 2 years ago, I overheard something I wasn't supposed to. Helena planning a mass eviction to seize homes for investors. Anyone behind on fines would lose their property overnight. Elara swallowed hard. "So I stole the shadow ledger, the full archive. Every transaction, every illegal fine, every kickback, every payment to those black ops enforcers." She slid a USB drive across the table. "This is everything." A loud thud shook the front door. Both of them jumped. Elara whispered. "They followed me." The back window shattered. Enforcers in tactical gear poured in from both sides. Jared grabbed Elara's arm and they raced upstairs, barricading themselves in the office. Footsteps approached. "You can't run, Jared." Helena's voice echoed through the house. "Give me the ledger and I'll let you both walk out." Elara whispered. "She's lying. She can't risk letting us leave alive." Jared looked at the USB in his hand, then at his computer. "You said the ledger shows everything?" "Everything," Elara said. Jared plugged in the drive, typed rapidly, and hit enter. "What did you do?" she asked. "I sent the entire shadow ledger to every homeowner, every news station, every county office, and to the state attorney general." A beat of silence. Then, ding, ding, ding. Phones all across Whispering Pines began buzzing. Helena's voice from downstairs turned into a scream. "No! Stop that upload!" Boom! The office door burst open. 2 enforcers rushed in. Before they could grab Jared, a deafening blast shook the house. Someone fired a shotgun from the hallway. Miriam stood there, holding a double barrel like she'd been born with it. "Enough," she growled. The enforcers retreated instantly. Helena appeared behind them, panic finally cracking her polished surface. But outside, sirens. Lots of them. Red and blue lights flashed across the windows. Sheriff deputies, state officers, 3 unmarked federal vehicles. The cavalry had arrived. Helena backed away, breath trembling. "You don't understand. I built this place. I kept it under control. Without me—" Jared stepped forward. "Without you, people can finally breathe." The front door splintered as law enforcement stormed in. Helena was handcuffed within seconds, screaming about conspiracies and sabotage. Her enforcers threw down their gear and surrendered. The nightmare was over. Epilogue, 6 months later. Whispering Pines looked different now. No more patrol SUVs, no more cameras hidden in trees, no more shadow fines taped to doors. The HOA had been dissolved with a 92% vote. The common areas were turned into community parks. Families walked freely again. Kids played chalk games in their driveways without fear of a $600 citation. Miriam finally got her freedom back, the tracker removed and used as evidence in Helena's trial. And Elara? She testified before the grand jury. Her courage shattered Helena's entire operation. Helena received 27 years for racketeering, fraud, extortion, and unlawful surveillance. As for Jared, he rebuilt the neighborhood council into something real. Not an HOA, but a community alliance with open books, shared decisions, and 0 power games. On a quiet evening, Jared stood on his porch, watching neighbors laugh and talk openly, something impossible just months earlier. Miriam walked up beside him. "You saved this place," she said. Jared shook his head. "No, we saved it. Together." A soft wind rustled the pines, no longer whispering warnings, but finally carrying peace.
Every neighborhood has its secrets, and every Karen leaves her mark. If you love true HOA stories like this, make sure to watch more on our channel, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-life neighborhood drama. Thank you.